Welcome to this channel, Prophecy for the Last Hour. I'm Liz McGee. I'm just going to ask you quick, especially if you're new to my channel, subscribe, like, and comment on the videos. Exciting time. The elect are being revealed. Be part of this great move of Elohim. See ya in the video. Times in the the New Age, they have all these connections with Kabbalah, a Sephirotic chart, and the human body, and this thing called chakras, and this thing called energy centers. Look, at science says that everything is energy. So let's not act shocked. Let's not, it says don't call everything that those people call conspiracy, all right? Educate yourself. Think critically, all right? If you find a parallel in the text of the holy word of Elohim, then all right, we connect it to our dot, all right? We're to bring it all back home, so to speak. All right, so the body, yes, there is a lot. The systems in the body, whether they be our electrical, our mind, the electromagnetic parts of us, the chemical parts of us, the biological functioning, all these body systems, this is all another way and totally in which they encrypt information, deep understanding information, and it is also a way in which, because this is really important when we get to it, we'll really flesh it, but the body, the whole point is the human body is a microcosm of the whole creation of Elohim. All right, remember, we are made in Yahweh's image and likeness. So if there's some kind of system out there in the whole cosmos, believe me, it is mirrored. It has a parallel functioning or parallel correspondence in the earthly body. All right. And this is why Eastern medicine, I'm telling you what, people have practiced Eastern medicine for up to 5,000 years. Now, if it didn't work, let's just be logical and think critically. If it didn't work, do you think somebody would have figured it out by now? Do you think somebody would have exposed it? No. People, and even in the West, people are going back to Eastern medicine because there are parts of it that we totally, cut off our arms to spite our face, cut off. And there's a lot of truth in it. A lot of these things work. All right. And a lot of times, and if we didn't have this military-industrial complex over our heads that completely controlled what we think and eat, and, breathe and all this stuff, we would, the scientists the correct data would be out because the data is there. It's just very hidden because the propaganda war, it's hard to get to, but it's there and it's really coming out now. I mean, all right, so that's what I want to say about the body. The last one is the Mazra, which people should understand. This is the heavens. Remember, he wrote his word in the heavens, and it equates like to the zodiac. All right, but the Mazzaroth being the more Hebrew term and understanding, we have to understand that this is all, the Mazzaroth is again all coded, all those stars, remember the heavens are made for stars and signs and all this, is all encrypted again according to the Sephirotic understandings. And, all right, so this whole concept, as below, so as above, so below. The heavens affect the earth. All right. Now, let's see if I got all those points made. I want to make two more points. All right. So let's just see zodiac. All right, because the zodiac is huge, which is the Mazzaroth, because there are. This is when you get into all this. I've done YouTubes on this. I hope people, if you like these videos on the keys I'm doing, go back to some of my other videos. I have a whole playlist on the gods of the nations, the 70 gods. And this is another, we have to understand, there's another category in here. Well, yeah, I mean, this is a category, really. The gods, and it's a small g, all right? Because the text uses that word, Elohim, small. It's not the most high God. Anybody can figure that out from the context, all right? I'm talking about low gods. These gods who run the Mazzaroth, who are the gods of the nations. All right, this is a huge part of understanding what's going on. All right, our texts, unfortunately, like English translators, are so watered down. Actually, they don't even understand this whole theology, so they can't really correctly translate a lot of what information is going on. All right, so now there is a huge relationship. This is why I'm picking metals, because it's so important, actually. And if I can do a decent job, which, we'll see. Metals people are picking up a lot of this understanding information, all right? So this remez, which is a hint, and the sod, the deep understandings of how, all right, let me say two things. Let me do this. I'm going to screen share something as I move into this category. All right, now I've shared this before. Let's look at this. This is really the Sephiroth, like I've told you here, this, but it's sort of done in a little bit of a different way, where what you have here, because there is a complete correspondence, as we're understanding, between the heavens, how the Mazrath, everything that's going on atmospherically and above us with planets, with the stars, with us, and Earth, all right? There's a level of correspondence. Remember, you are what you think. You reap what you sow. How does this thing all work? So in other words, these are 6 planets, planetary, if we're going to use that category of encryption. These are planetary influences on the Earth. But the way they manifest on the Earth is inside of us, or inside any living organism. These systems, these waves, this energy, all right, these forces are you will operate in the level of quantum physics. This is what they're seeing, this relationship between the heavens and the Earth, all right? We are the Earth. Biblically, technically, when the Bible talks about the fruit of the field, the fruit of the tree, or it talks about the land, Jerusalem, Zion, all these, is really talking about this whole level of physicality. All right, I told you they got 5 worlds. So the prophets are constantly going from, let's just say, this world of Asiyah, of physicality, into this astral world of Yetzirah, into this world of Beriah, on up and down. They're going up and down in their understanding, and we need to be able to go with them. So as you understand, it's because I like that, because it almost shows this little quantum, the little, how they show them spinning around, these little electrons and neutrons. This is telling you, this is what the ancients knew and understood, this level. Is what's going to bring back all the credibility of the Bible, the text. Because another reason I'm so passionate about this, just to say this, is that, the enemy has been doing everything he can to try to discredit the Bible, because we've been working on these little literal and just strictly drosh levels of meaning, which don't give you any of this information. So we've never really been able to have an answer for people as to why our texts sometimes speak so weirdly, okay? Because we lost these keys, but we're getting them back. So when everything is back out in the open, in the level of understanding, especially among the elect is there, we will be able to shut the mouths, right, of the gainsayers and prove the text. The Bible was always the Torah of Elohim to us. The problem was always us. It was never Elohim, all right? And it will give him great glory. His glory will cover, the earth as the seas. The waters cover the sea. So this is another reason why I do this so much, is to bring back the glory to the name of Yahweh. All right. Now, let me go into this. I have a couple more little things I have to say. All right. So we're working off the sod and remez. Now, this has been an interesting, and it still is today, sort of an interesting debate, or all right, balance is everything, and we have a left side and a right side. This is the whole point of mind. We know we have a right-sided brain, a left side of the brain, and they function differently. They have different cognitive, science knows this. This is what's always been up in our texts in the Kabbalah. But the whole trick is you need to balance the two. Everything is about balance, all right? And that's the middle pillar. And actually, that is the job of the quote unquote the magistrate of the Messiahs of Israel. I mean, this is where our king. I mean, he is the arbitrator, right? He's the balancer of that whole. All right, let me just see if I can say this. There's two really famous sages of the Middle Ages in Ramban and Rambam. All right, now those were acronyms, names, but it's basically Maimonides and Nachmanides. And I think I got that right. I don't know. Two totally brilliant sages. Now they had opposite kind of, it's okay, takes on this, because another one of the laws, so to speak, is called the law of rhythm. There are some really key ways in which we know things operate. Like I've been speaking a lot about the law of correspondences. There's a law of the principle of rhythm, that everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. Things rise, they fall. You know, the pendulum swing, that whole concept of a pendulum. I mean, these are real natural phenomena. You can't deny. This is all part of the big work that goes on. But there was always kind of a rub between, like, Nachmanides, or the Guide for the Perplexed. I mean, Rambam did a lot of this kind of writing, speaking of all these things and trying to give people a handle on it, but he was very much locking it down sort of into, like, today's almost a secular rationalistic understanding, all right? Which, in my opinion, if you take it too far, you're swinging a little too far one way, all right? While these things are all actually laws of Torah, are very laws of nature. I mean, there are definite things set in stone, and they don't change. But the flip side of that is we live, Elohim also, we're made in his image and likeness. There is another side of this story of relationships, of, like I said, the ethical qualities of, our Elohim of love, hesed, and mercy versus judgment and justice. There is also of these Elohims, of entities, of realness. I mean, I'm a real person, all right? I'm not, so I guess, all right, so a lot of the anthropomorphic language in the text, which gives God, eyes and ears, he has hands, and then he speaks, and he gets angry, and he does things, this is called the anthropomorphic, but there is a side. Part of the other side of this coin is just like we are people, we have an emotional aspect to us. That's part of the creative. We also have a mind. So you can't go too far over one way or too far. And I think in today's world, we're going to be able to combine the two. Because let me tell you something, there really are Elohim. There are sentient beings. This is one of the things our text is telling us. Woohoo, we'll get there. Quote unquote, you come to say extraterrestrials. I've said we live in a very populated. There are so many code words for angels. There's so many different species of angels that are real sentient beings. That's actually a lot of people in the Remez world today, which I consider to be a lot of the people that are unpacking the extraterrestrials, the UFOs, or the Nephilim, or the giants, or all this kind of stuff, the history of interfacing with other species of beings, other non-Adamic species. This is all part of it. So you can't be too just rationalistic and think these are just kind of laws of metaphysics, but you have to at the same time understand we are dealing with real and true entities. All right? So, all that being said, that's a very important, and then in terms of science and theology, all right? If we were talking in sort of a more, you have that science of it, which would be in the rationalistic way. You're talking about energy, waves, forces, all right? On the flip side, we're talking about matter, form, physicality, energy that is vibrationally stable, all right, versus energy that's moving, all right? So these are all ways in which this information can be put forward. And I'm saying one better or the other, we have to have balance, all right? So that the true image, so that we represent the true image and likeness of Elohim, and what we can know truly about Elohim, is what comes forward and gives him glory. So, a couple of those things being said, I'm going to come back to you in just a second. Part 2 of this. I'm going to come back with some new information. We're going to get right into now metals.